Saya punya audio okey ke?
Audio okay, clear.
Audio okey. So saya punya deck tu clear ke kalau saya guna my backdrop?
Your backdrop, can we try again? Yeah, okay. Okay, clear.
Yeah.
Yeah. Pasal apa? No semua masuk sini.
UNIMAP offers programs of study leading to the award of diploma, bachelor's, master's and PhD degrees. Following the restructuring of the university in September 2020, UNIMAP now has 6 faculties offering more than 40 programs of study. Faculty of Electrical Engineering Technology, Faculty of Electronic Engineering Technology, Faculty of Mechanical Engineering Technology, Faculty of Chemical Engineering Technology, Faculty of Civil Engineering Technology, Faculty of Applied and Human Sciences. UNIMAP continuously carries out research that brings benefit to all. Nanotechnology research in UNIMAP looks into faster, easier, and more accurate detection of microbiological diseases. The HPV-CC kit has high sensitivity that allows early detection of cervical cancer through saliva. Under UNIMAP's social responsibility programs, an alternative energy source kit known as EPS kit has been developed. The success and achievement thus far have placed UNIMAP on the world stage.
Thank you, Secretariat. We are gathered here for the 7th time, thanks to the unrelenting effort and initiatives of Dr. Nazri Halif and Dr. Sharifan Al-Faiza, as well as the ISICS broadcast control team. Thank you indeed for this special local treat. Good afternoon, everyone. With a special welcome and good afternoon to our guest of honor and speaker, Encik Kamarul Azman Muhammad, as well as professors, lecturers, students, and public who have gathered virtually here. We are here to hear about an innovative company known as Aerodyne, founded by Encik Kamarul himself. Although it will be easy to associate the prefix aero to some form of drone, the company, however, does more than just droning. Encik Kamarul is the founder and group CEO of Aerodyne Group, a Malaysian-founded drone solutions provider ranked first in the world by Drone Industry Insights of Germany. He led Aerodyne from a 3-person startup in 2014 to a global company with a presence in 35 countries in just 6 years, which is impressive indeed. He has studied accountancy at the Said Business School, Oxford University, before obtaining an MSc or postgraduate diploma in Information Systems Management from Salford University, and topped it all off with an ACCA Level 2 from Nottingham Trent University. Encik Kamarul is the EY Entrepreneur of the Year 2020, Technology Entrepreneur of the Year 2020 Malaysia, TechNode Global's Startup Leader of the Year 2021, and SEBA Entrepreneur of the Year 2020. He also holds many distinguished positions within and without our government, is a member of the Economic Action Council, the Digital Economy and the Fourth Industrial Revolution Policy Council, the Bumiputra Prosperity Council, and the Board of Directors of Bank Negara Malaysia and Forbes Councils. He is a TEDx speaker and a drone industry thought leader who has presented his ideas and innovations on artificial intelligence, drones, and Industry 4.0 around the world. He is also an adjunct professor at Universiti Putra Malaysia and College University Islam Antarabangsa, Selangor. Encik Kamarul is a thinker and futurist with a deep passion for human history, astronomy, theoretical physics, as well as technology. A non-conformist, he often ponders how the technology of the future will advance humanity towards equality and freedom. He is a seasoned traveler who has visited over 100 countries and flown his personal drones in places such as the Russian steppes, Iceland's glaciers and lava fields, the European Alps, the Himalayas, America, South Africa, Nigeria, Sudan, Japan, Australia, and many other countries. With that brief introduction of Mr. Kamarul's achievements and accolades, I now leave the floor to Encik Kamarul. Encik Kamarul.
Thank you, Prof. Thank you so much. Right, let me thank you for the introductions as well. So I changed the title a bit of what I would like to do today. It's still about Aerodyne and all that, but I want to also talk a little bit about the purpose, which is very important. The purpose of why we do this, and this relates to the technology and innovation as well. Right, the purpose of what we do is really to advance humanity using our drone intelligence. And I will talk a little bit as how this actually translates to the users, to the world as well. Can I also check that this is viewed full screen for you all on my screen? Because I did not stream the deck separately.
Yes, it is.
All right?
Yes.
Because on my side, I'm seeing all the smaller screens.
Yeah, okay. We can see you magnified.
All right. Okay. Thanks a lot. Okay. So that's actually what we do. That's the purpose. I'll just start with a little bit about what we do, and I want to talk about innovation culture. And to end, I will also want to talk about how do we mind shape for the future. I'm very passionate about the purpose earlier. I'm also personally very passionate about how we can actually work together and make Malaysia great again. Nothing to do with Trump, nothing to do with Mr. Trump, but how can we make a Malaysia a force to be reckoned with? My personal vision as well, so that we can be a tech exporter, and I make it my mission as well, not just within my organization, because I do believe that we can do this as Malaysians if we do the right thing. Malaysia is not short of having the brain power. Technically, Malaysian talents are extremely good. So you guys are having internet sound issue. My internet is
a slight break here and there.
Tak berapa jelas, Cik Marul. Mungkin putus-putus tadi.
I'm
Earphone, mungkin earphone.
Okay, maybe I'll try to not use the wires. Is this better? Can I check? Is this better?
Yes, yes. Yes, better.
I cannot hear you now.
Oh,
I put back on the. Can you all hear me now?
yes.
All right. Okay. All right. Okay. So let me just start about the company and what we do at Aerodyne. What you're seeing here is the operations, our global operations. We are our HQ is in Cyberjaya, and we have offices in 11 other countries around the world. For example, we have an office in Washington, D.C. that look after the North and South America. And from that office also, we look after the European office as well. A key market for Aerodyne today is also in the Middle East. Our second largest operation outside of Malaysia today is actually in the Middle East, based in Dubai. We have an office in Dubai. In fact, if anybody has been to the Malaysian pavilion during the Dubai Expo, the Dubai Expo is now our regional HQ as well. Indonesia is also a very exciting market, together with India as well. So this is our footprint. We are about 900 plus, almost 1,000 employees today. So what is it that we do? Prof. Prabhakaran mentioned earlier that we are not really just drone. What we do is what we call a DT Cube company. So we are drone tech, data tech, and digital transformation. So drone tech is where we not only build our drone, but we also provide services and solutions using drone for our clients globally. And the basic idea about having this as a drone as a service is that it became a OPEX model for our client. There are clients who prefer to purchase drone, but there are also clients that actually uses from a OPEX model where they come to us for us to provide the services for them. So what do we do using this drone? So for example, if you look at the pictures over there, if I were to start on the top left-hand corner, you see pictures with the three gentlemen with a snowy background. This is what we do with in Siberia, where we are involved in mining activities. Next to it is actually wind turbine inspection work. So we do this in India, to the right of it in Japan, and so on and so forth. Rightmost, you can see some power line inspection work and so on and so forth. So that is actually what we do using drone technology. So this drone actually is not just a mechanical flying device, but it's also equipped with some very advanced sensors. Some of these sensors and data technology, in fact, most of it are actually developed internally at Aerodyne. So what do we do with all of these sensors? So for example, we don't really just take photos or video. We use hyperspectral sensors, for example, that enable us to detect, for example, when it comes to agriculture, we can tell the health of the plants at the plantation. We can detect diseases and so on and so forth. And from this data, it enables us to actually do intervention very, very quickly. So I go into a little bit more detail later as well. I just want to cover the three things that we do. So we are drone tech, and the second one is data technology. For data technology, today we have about 150 AI scientists and data engineers within the organization. And we run our development work, not just in Malaysia, but we also run from Pakistan, from India, from Vietnam, and also in America. So what do we use this AI technology for? Number one, we use vision to help us, we use computer vision to help us do detection and all that a lot faster. In the past, in the beginning, all of these are done by our engineers and analysts. Now our work are almost 90% automated already. And of course, our intention is to go 100%. So some of these are a game changer. The moment we move towards using AI. I'll take an example. When we do power line inspection, we use thermal imagery to do detection of fault on the power line itself. So the problem with that is that every single day we capture about 65,000 images. Now, these 65,000 images would take one person, 1 man year to process. Nowadays, we use our AI technology, and all of this is done in near real time as well. So that's actually one of the main things, the use of AI in our organization as well. So that's data tech. And of course, the third one is digital transformation. So when we provide our solution, if you look at, for example, there's a study by Harvard that says that out of 1.3 trillion of digital transformation exercise in a year, 900 billion actually fail to achieve its objective, or in other words, it fails the work itself. So why is it so? Because when you do digital transformation, or for any client for that matter, it's actually technology is only the enabler. The actual work is actually in people transformation. So that's actually another very important aspect as well. So we do at Aerodyne is actually beyond doing technological transformation, but we also talk about mindset change as well, which is also the third part of my conversation. How do we do that mindset shift so that all of these technological advantage can actually transform organization? So that's the third part, which is digital transformation. So on top of that, on this page, I'm also showing how this technology can also be used, around the world. If you look at the top, what drone can be used for, is also for geospatial intelligence. So a lot of the time, when you look at critical assets, critical infrastructure, it's actually over a widespread area. So how do you actually those situations? I even had a project that was, before the pandemic. Yeah,
Prof. Hazri, your mic. Okay, sir, carry on.
All right, sure. So some of the geospatial intelligence work that we provide in the past, for example, one of the exciting one, but of course this is before the Russian invasion into Ukraine. But we have done some work in Russia as well, looking into the deepest of mine, where our drone actually fly autonomously 800 meter into the mining shaft itself, and actually do inspection within the mine for safety, looking at how the dynamite are safely inserted to make sure that the operation are safe. So that's the kind of work that we do. So infrastructure, I talked about that earlier. Power line is actually a big use of drone, power line management around the world. Oftentimes, the energy energy requirement of the country cannot be disrupted. Even one day of disruption, or even 1 hour of disruption, can amount to billions of dollars of losses. So we use our drone and data technology to make sure that assets are always in tip-top condition. So how do we do that? So we use this drone to capture the data, and this data are sent in real time to our system. And at the same time, we take in satellite data, we take in weather data, and we do predictive and prescriptive analytics as well to make sure that all these assets are in good condition. The fourth one from the right at the top is actually agriculture. If you look at agriculture, for example, let's just take Malaysia for now. In Malaysia, currently today, we have foreign labor shortage. So a lot of work are being disrupted. We have in Malaysia, for example, client in the palm plantation industry. They are losing hundreds of millions every month because of shortage of foreign labor. So how do we use technology to solve this problem? So at Aerodyne, we use drone and data technology to solve those problems. How does it work? So for example, one of the biggest problems at the palm plantation is actually a problem with this little bug called the rhinoceros beetle. So this rhinoceros beetle actually would eat the shoot of the trees. And if it go unchecked, over a couple of months, this tree will actually die. And this is a serious problem. Last year, when we first had, 2 years ago, when we first had COVID, some of these customers are losing billions or hundreds of millions in one plantation alone. They cannot do anything about it. There's no foreign labor to go in and actually apply the treatment and the insecticide to solve this problem. So we came in with our technology. So we use precision application of those drones to actually first detect where are the problem, and we send the drone to actually apply those fertilizer exactly where it's needed. And guess what? In just 1 year, the number of trees that we save is must save the customer more than $50 million. So it's actually very, very disruptive as well. So that's agriculture. The top right-hand corner is surveillance. If you look at even in Malaysia, the border between Malaysia, which is you guys are very close as well, border between Perlis and Thailand, and likewise in Kelantan and Thailand, Kedah and Thailand as well. Every year, the country loses about 8 billion ringgit in illicit trade. So this is actually a huge problem for the country as well. So today, our drones are being used to help monitor those borders as well. And this is not just a physical drone. We actually developed swarm intelligence technology on this drone, where this drone will actually fly and monitor the border without having people or the authority looking at every single frame of the images. All of this I will show later as well, how the detection is done automatically, and also to predict where perpetrators will go. And this system will actually then send another drone or another technology to actually do it in the most optimal way to capture the perpetrators. So that's some of the key things that you can see on the top. But at the bottom, you can also see other kind of work. We also do turnkey R&D work for our customers as well. Some of the problems that we had, that we were solving, is how in Australia, how to run meat and livestock farm. It's a huge farm as well over there. We do emergency, we do insurance, natural resources, and so on and so forth. Right. So now let's take a look at what are the problems that we solve. I mentioned about it earlier. Number one is actually the critical infrastructure. It's all about cost and efficiency. And number two is also precision agriculture, which is about increasing yield and optimizing the yield. It's also about project management at any given time in the construction site in Malaysia or around the world. Delays and non-compliance are very costly. How can we use technology to monitor the situation? So again, we use LiDAR technology to capture minute progress within the construction site itself and monitor this against the Gantt chart of the construction. So we know exactly where we are in terms of progress. And of course, I mentioned about surveillance. And of course, the last also is that the next big thing using drone technology is actually logistics. In near future, and I see this in less than 5 years, air mobility, urban air mobility will be a huge thing happening around the world. So these are some of the key technology that we do. One of the things that we develop is something that we call the drone data intelligence system. Some of you may be familiar with Palante in America, where you take all various data from various different sources, and how do you make sense of all of this data? And I mentioned briefly earlier, we do predictive analytics to enable continuous optimization of assets. So this is actually our Dronos platform. So let me then talk also about agriculture. The agriculture here, there are farm services, from doing crop monitoring to crop protection, and also doing fertilizer application. In terms of farm intelligence, and this is again providing modern technology to what we think as a very old not exciting industry to be in. So imagine farmers can be monitoring their farms using the assets. If there's any problem with the IoT devices on the site, they can actually see exactly what's happening on the site itself. In one durian plantation, for example, we were able to help our customers using effective microorganisms instead of using chemical fertilizers to increase their yield by more than 30% in just one alone. So it's not only we use biological component instead of chemical, we also use drone to help do an effective applications into this technology as well. So that is farm intelligence. This is the other one, which is the Fulcrum, what we call our geospatial intelligence platform. What you are seeing here, for example, if in the past, when you fly drone, you need pilots or commander to actually monitor and make sense of the visual that are being sent back to you. Not with our technology. All of this is actually being sent using, or rather being analyzed using our AI system. So that's actually another thing that enables the effectiveness of this solution. Right. And I also mentioned earlier about the next big thing is actually urban air mobility and logistics using drone. And why not? Because this will lead to significant cost savings and also safety aspects as well. Every single day, a lot of cargoes are being sent offshore. And then if you look at potential risk and accident also quite high as well. So we are moving that risk away by using an autonomous drone to deliver cargo around the world as well. So that's in terms of delivery hub. So that's a little bit about what we do. Second thing, I want to talk a little bit about innovation culture. Why moving forward for the country, to improve in terms of our innovation culture, especially for those at universities, because industry must work very closely with academia. Having this innovation culture is actually a very important element for anyone. So we need, and we are in the progress of becoming a high income nation, and we need to have the competitiveness. We have been following the competitiveness of the country. We have been dropping over the years in terms of our global competitiveness ranking. And even if we were to look at this, my take or my thoughts at this is that education is key in ensuring that we can remain and we can have our global competitiveness as well. Right. And one startling statistics that I saw recently is that in terms of the global general population in Malaysia, is that only 72% of Malaysians only study up to SPM only. So this is actually a very worrying trend as well. And of course, on top of that, almost 6% never go to school. So to me, for any countries to achieve global competitiveness, this is actually a worrying aspect. So we need to figure out how can we solve this problem. So what I'm going to do next is actually to look at the history of invention. And I will go. I'm just go overview from more than 3.5 million years ago when the first tools are invented and fire were invented. To today, we are talking about AI and all that. So it really tells us one key thing: wealth and the advancements of any civilization is really through technology and through innovation as well. If we were to look at today as well, Malaysia as a country, we are a consumer of technology rather than a technology exporter. And moving forward, it is my call, it is my vision or my expectation, if we can all become a technology exporting country as well. So if you were to look at this, even boats and farming were invented 10,000 BCE, and then iron 4,000, so on and so forth. 4,000 is paper is about 5,000 years ago. Then if you were to look at the other, I will not go into detail. Most of you are probably aware of this. But I want to talk about how whatever technology that we have are being built upon any findings and innovation that has been created over time as well. In ancient time, irrigation, balloon, lighthouse, compass. Compass is more than 2,200 years ago, has been developed by the Chinese, and so on and so forth. Roman concrete is almost a lost technology for us today. If you were to travel to Italy, you will see all of these magnificent buildings still standing strong today because of Roman concrete. This is a lost technology. So it's a shame as well. So how do we make sure that we can build upon technology and start producing better technology as well as we move forward? And let's look at some of the in the Middle Ages. We have windmills, we have printing press, Mercator world map 1540. Even Galileo is actually a big contributor towards this as well. And magnetism was found in the 1600s. So, which is again, if you look at all these basic discoveries, are pivotal to the technology that we have today. What we have in our mobile phone today is actually something that would require all of these discoveries of the past as well. Now, the next big thing, and I relate this to our today we are at the Industrial Revolution 4, and not long from now, in Revolution 5 is upon us. But if you were to look back, you look at how in the 1600s, for a period of about 80 years, the Industrial Revolution 1 first occurs, right? With textiles, steam-powered, iron-making, machine tools. All of this actually transformed the world then. One of the big discovery, or rather the big increase at that time, is actually when you look at the lifespan of human. Before this, or even up to this stage, the average lifespan of human is only 30 years old. Less than 30 to 35. Right. Today, what is our average lifespan? Our average lifespan is actually already to 70s today. Some are predicting with advancement of medical technology and all that, our lifespan will be pushed beyond 100 years as well. So all of these again come through the discovery of technology. If you look at steam power in the Industrial Revolution, and then second Industrial Revolution is about technology revolution of a span of 40 over years, rapid scientific discovery during this time. One thing that I would like to highlight here is that technology actually drives wealth, provide wealth, and also growth of any countries. Again, I want to link back as well on the importance of us, Malaysian, to actually be the inventor of technology. If you look at the graph on the left, you see that the GDP remains unchanged for a very long period of time until Industrial Revolution happens. And likewise, the message here is that every Industrial Revolution, major increase in the GDP itself. So that's second Industrial Revolution. If you look at the third Industrial Revolution, we have gone through the digital revolution from after or during World War II onwards, up until 2015, almost 70 years of digital revolution. Even if you were to look at the rocket, the Apollo 11 that brought mankind to the moon, the technology, the speed of the computers that we use is actually even slower than the calculator that we have today. So that's actually, again, how fast technology has progressed over time. And we just go back to that. Even today's smartphone, everyone today here carries smartphone. Our smartphone today is faster than a supercomputer of 20 years ago. So what we have at our palm today is so powerful. And I'm going to be sharing after this as well, how it's going to be mind-bogglingly even more powerful in an exponential curve moving forward as well. That will be my part of my setting session today. right? So that's the third industrial revolution. Then we move to our fourth industrial revolution, which is where we are today. This is our time today, and I'm also borrowing here our philosophy at Aerodyne. When we do digital transformation, it's all about providing solution that is faster, better, cheaper, and safer. And then, of course, Industrial Revolution 4.0 is actually powered by AI for real-time connectivity to do continuous improvement as well, to increase operational efficiency. And this is where we are today. This is where every industries, any research work, most of the research that we do today is actually about providing this operational efficiency as well, right? So that's the current industrial revolution. The fifth industrial revolution, and this is something that to me I hope will inspire all of us to really be thinking about the future. I mean, there's not a lot of this is being talked about as well right now. If you to look at even from now until and then 2030s, some of the big thing that's happening right now today, as advanced as our AI today, it is still a narrow intelligence. Whatever AI that we have today, an expert within a very narrow band of knowledge, right? But it is still very, very advanced, and one of the starting blocks in terms of a lot of some of this work, researchers, what we do at Aerodyne as well today is actually how do we actually communicate to machine. So you've heard about what Elon Musk through Neuralink has been working on as well. Because today, when we communicate with machine, we can already talk directly. I think the next big one is actually using human brain to machine interface, and that's actually already in a couple of years will become a reality as well. Right. So that's number one. Artificial super intelligence will be as well, and one of the big enabler of this is actually also singularity. Some people are saying singularity is 10 years away, some say 50 years away, but we all know that this is a doubt, something is coming. So a lot of work is currently being done by using, expecting quantum computing to become reality very soon. And when we have computing, talking about exponential growth in terms of speed as well, in terms of what we can do using this technology. So in the 2030s, we have all of these sensors sending the data to the cloud or to our central processing, and then from we do the processing. But in the 2030s, we are already expecting some of the to be in real time, because we would have AIoT. AI will be the device itself. So a lot of things for us to look forward to in the 2030s. I very exciting. All of this, especially remember that we talked about earlier, the technology creating wealth. On top of this, if we do not have grasp into this technology, we are going to lose out as individual and also as a country as well. So that's the 2030s. If we were to go into 2040s, this is the era where potentially artificial general intelligence will be commonplace. So if today we can have access into the specific that we are working on, I mentioned about our AI for agriculture that can actually tell the health, can tell the health of a plantation and also the trees, and can also tell the health of predict and all that. But they're all narrow band. This system, this intelligence only know about that aspect. By the time we reach 2040s also, we would see artificial general intelligence, of course it will be earlier, will become commonplace. And one aspect of AGI is that this machine will start improving upon themselves. They themselves can actually develop new technology, faster and even better machine, faster and better algorithm and so on. And some of these concern at this stage is that how we may even over this machine. So we need to govern this machine as well. And of course, the number 4 that I list down, I have to look at the other computer. It's the screen here I cannot see. Is that it's this is the point where human may start to lose control. I know this is scary thought, but I do believe that if we are smarter than machine, we put all of this into to manage all of this. Again, the important thing here is that this is inevitable. If we don't, even if we don't do this, this is going to happen. So my battle cry is that why don't we be part of this revolution? So that's in the 2040s, and most importantly, as we go 20 years after that, I'm jumping 20 years at the time, from AGI, we may come to the era of artificial intelligence after AGI starts to create even better machine as we move forward. And some of the projects at this where human and machine will actually merge and become one. I would even wager, even today, we can already have artificial heart. We can already have bionic leg. So in the future, the time we come to this stage, there is talk of consciousness also to be transferred machine, but that is a different conversation altogether as well. So again, this is a brief overview of where the kind of research work technology is going right now. Now, let me just talk a little bit as well. How do we prepare ourselves for all of this innovation? How do we prepare ourselves to make ourselves relevant as we move forward? Prof. Prabhakaran, do we want to stop here first and or question and answer for deliberation, or should I continue to the third part?
The call is totally yours, sir. If you feel we'd like to take a few questions, we are more than more than welcome you.
Yeah, why don't we take questions on the technology side first then?
Okay, all right. Any questions from the floor to Encik Kamarul? On that note, Encik Kamarul, do you, when you talk about your drones, do you build them completely from A to Z at your facility, or you repurpose from elsewhere?
We do both. We do build everything from scratch as well in some of those drones, because again, drones are really commodity. If you look at, for example, the most popular one today, DJI drone, we use quite a bit of those drones as well. We have a few hundred of that, but a lot of what we want to use as well, DJI cannot provide.
Okay.
For example, when we talk about our heavy lifter drone, we actually build it from scratch ourselves. Okay. There are also situations when it comes to drone, we take whatever is available, but we improve on the sensors, or even structural modification as well, mechanical modification as well, to enable us to do the requirements that we may have.
Can I summarize that as a case by case solution?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. The other thing that was quite interesting is when you mentioned about Siberia, or what was mining, you go 800 meters down the mine shaft. I imagine 800 meters is vertical, and then you have to move horizontal another few hundred meters left or right. That will bring your drone transmission underground to at least about 2 or 3 kilometers. That's quite a super long range communication that you have there. That's quite sophisticated.
Actually, there's communication. So these drones are already aerial robots, and we use SLAM technology. So it actually, we do not even map. This drone actually makes sense by itself. As it goes through the shaft, it actually understands and it measures the size of the shaft, the size of the tunnel, and it will sense and the void by itself and capturing data at the same time. So there's no piloting needed. Otherwise, even if you go down there, there's no GPS as well, so you won't be able to control them anyway. So
Okay,
yeah,
so,
so we
there's no remote controlling. It's just
there's no
self-piloting.
yeah, you think of it like an aerial robot. So these drones are really aerial robots.
Yes.
Yeah.
Aerial robots. Yes, that's a perfect.
Yeah, yeah.
And
Okay.
on your topic on AI, do you do real-time AI or on-site AI? That means as and when you're flying, you perform some AI, or
Yes.
do you a company server stashed somewhere?
We have both. We have both.
Okay.
We have on the edge as well. So we use the AI on the edge for two reasons. Number one is actually for navigation. So it actually detects, sense, and what, and make decision how to do this. And of course, the other aspect, and of course, using computer vision to do detection of faults and so on and so forth. But at the same time, we also use AI for the optimization of the mission itself. So this is where all of these swarm collaboratively work together to optimize the operation.
Okay, there is a question here. Sorry. Okay. Stay on AI topic first before I move on to the losing control. Okay. Hi, Mr. Kamarul. Would you say that AI is a subject where every university should implement, considering the evolution of machinery and technology nowadays? And any tips where we can start to learn how to do AI?
Without a doubt, I think we are at this era. We're going to look at the past of the Industrial Revolution. Everybody must be know of this technology at the very least, comprehend. And learning, of course, obviously you can universities, but there are plenty of resources out there as well. And I do encourage everyone to be aware and to be involved in this technology. And then because it will play a very significant role in our daily lives. If today there's a lot of technology that we take for granted. We look at electricity around me. There's so many lights here. We don't see lights, right? We just press a switch and the light comes to you. And to me, I foresee that within 20 years from now, AI will be everywhere around us as well. And we don't even think about it. We don't even know about it because the wall will be AI driven. Our TV will be AI driven. Yes. Everything will have AI embedded into it so that at any given time, everything will be not only the topic, everything that will be optimized for us. So this is a very, very important topic. And the speed and the capability of future AI, it's scary and also mind-boggling. Actually even manage it, because if you don't do this thing can go out of hand as well.
Yes. On that thought that it might go out of hand, this question from Mr. Faris from IIUM, the phrase that you used earlier, human might lose control. So his question is that a good or bad thing?
Yeah, that is a bad thing. that is a bad thing if they lose control. But of course, I would imagine in the future there will be governance process for us to look into this as well, how to manage the situation. But I won't lose hope in human not being creative enough. There will always be hot fish to disable. I mean, these are some of the thought that is happening right now. So it is a bad thing, but I think let's all put our heart and mind together and to make sure that we are on top of things.
The 3 rules of robotics?
Machine shall not hurt human.
Yes,
number one.
Shall not hurt you. And then from what you have said so far, it seems like you have a pretty big team of R&D.
Well, we are increasing our team right now. We do have today about, as I mentioned earlier, about 150. But our plan is actually to build this to about 500 within the next 2 years or so.
you're going, if you put 500 people, you're going to put all lecturers out of job.
I would invite people. I mean, our aspiration is to be the sense time of Malaysia. So why not? I mean, we have to. I mean, this is big. We are dreaming big.
Okay. Another one more question. Salam, Mr. Kamaru. What are the benefits of mixing smart agricultural machines and agricultural?
Well, just give me a sec. It's getting
Yeah, sure.
dark. Okay, that's better.
Yeah.
All right. So the question is,
What are the benefits of smart agricultural machines and agricultural drones?
Oh, they are one and the same. You know, if you look at smart agricultural machine, it depends on what you are referring to, right? But if you were looking at agriculture drone, are also agricultural machine. What I would imagine here is actually about how do we mix sensors, how do we mix agronomy's know-how into continuous improvement of yield optimization as we go along. So in terms of benefit of combining this, it's all again about increasing yield and the more effective management of the the plantation. And we have experienced this. We are pretty new in this. Over the past 2 years, we put significant effort into this out of pandemic. Because of the pandemic, we started to look into this situation, and it has been very, very encouraging. You know, even for paddy plantation, we are doing R&D in the plot of around 100 hectares today. In one season of our operation, we also increased the yield by 35% as well. And we are looking at doubling this in the second. And this is through continuous monitoring of pests, continuous monitoring of the growth, continuous monitoring of water and the soil condition, and so on and so forth.
Monitoring only, or monitoring decision making and implementing?
And implementing and executing the intervention strategy.
Yes, okay.
Well.
All right.
Yeah.
One out of topic question. It's interesting that your statistics, 72%, 73% of Malaysian SPM school, which overlaps nicely with the recently released statistics that 70% of SPM school leavers want to be, what they call this?
Gig economy.
Gig economy.
Gig economy.
They want to be trendsetters, but not pursue a professional career.
Yeah, but that's worrying. That's worrying.
That's worrying. Yes.
That's very, very worrying, because those are short term. Those do provide short term benefit, especially for our school leavers and staff. But in the long run, this is a cost to the country. And if we do not have the know-how for innovation, and we do not have enough in critical mass for us to go into deep tech, to do into deep research, and then we will get into problem in the long run.
We'll be forever a consumer society, and that will be a huge trade imbalance.
That absolutely.
Yes. Okay, Mr. Kamaru, the floor is back yours.
Right. Okay.
Thank you.
Let me reconnect. Can you all see this? You all can see this, right?
No, not yet.
Not yet.
No.
Let me see. Okay. Can you all see?
Yep.
All right. Okay. All right. So the last part of my segment is that how do we then change mindset for us to be relevant for the future? You know, I talk about the technology, innovation in the past, and we talk about what we are doing today, we as in the country and what we're doing right now, and where the world is going. How do we change mindset to make sure that we have the ability to at least experience this journey as we move forward? And this is a very important thing as well. We are seeing all of this change happening. What skills do we need to have in order to master this? You know, how do we build shape for the future? Even in my organization, we chose to do something difficult, to be honest, and it is indeed very, very difficult. To be frank, we do face significant challenge in putting together enough team members that can actually contribute towards innovating, towards creating technology that is competitive on a global scale. There are some that we can, of course, do in country today. That's also the reason why we now have R&D center, development center around the world, but all interconnected. This is part of what we are doing to actually help our local talent. I mean, there are some part where our talent are pretty good at you know, the technology itself, but how do we actually connect all the dots together and deliver something that is relevant? That has been a huge challenge that we face as well. So we want to figure out how do we actually make this happen. So we ourselves have gone through this mindset shift, and then that's actually what I wanted to share this afternoon as well. So in 2015, the left-hand corner, you see that's me in my lab working on my first drone. Right. At that time, we had 311. So we have 3 people, 1 office, and 1 country. And this is on the right where we are. We have about 1,000 people. We are in 12 countries with operation in 12 offices in 12 countries and operations in 35 countries. So it's the clarity of purpose that helped us do this transformation as well, and that drive the transformation within the organization. So how do we drive this mindset change? The first one is actually about having a clear purpose alignment with everyone, with all the stakeholders in the organization. Purpose is a very key thing. And this is about leadership. This is about technology. The first 2 parts is about technology that I want to talk about mindset and all that, right? So purpose about leadership. So purpose, clarity of purpose, and genuine purpose will be actually from leaders that share with all the team members as well. We must have personal purpose that is aligned to organization purpose before actually deliver transformation. So purpose is important. I mentioned about it's important to be genuine. Leaders also needs to be influential to bring about change into organization as well, because people must believe in what you say as well. We need to have effective engagement with everyone. We need to be future focused. We need to be thinking about what are the kind of things, where are the trends, what are the trends that is happening, and how do we harness components of technology before we can deliver something that will be relevant in the future as well. And we need to reward and recognize team members. We need to have a clear strategy and framework moving forward as well. So we need to have this paradigm shift. I'm always reminded by what Einstein used to say, right? Let me just go back to this one. That, you know, we cannot solve the problem that we using the same thinking that created the problem in the first place. So we have to think differently. So this is something that we always remind ourselves. How do we think differently to solve a problem, every single problem that we face, to create new solutions, new whatever hurdles that we come across as well, right? So one of the thing I want to just share a few examples. One of the main thing in order to deliver things, oftentimes we have clear objective of what we wanted to achieve, but sometimes we do not meet those objectives. How do we change it? How do we make sure that we can deliver it? So one of it is actually having genuine leadership. I'll give you this example. This is the pictures that I'm showing in Norway, the country. Now, Norway used to be a very poor country. Early in the 1900s, it's a very, very poor country. Fishing village, nobody, very, very poor people. And especially after the war, was even World War I and World War II, even worse. At that time, Norway is a province of Denmark. So there's no activity there except fishing, right? But with the discovery of oil and gas in Denmark, then the country is set to transform itself. However, if you all heard the term called the oil curse, a lot of countries that discovered oil actually do not end up getting rich. So for example, you look at what happened to Libya, what happened to Venezuela. Venezuela have the highest level of reserve in South America, but it is one of the poorest countries in South America, in Latin America. Same thing with Iraq and so on and so forth, right? So what happened in Norway is about having genuine leadership that execute the plan that they set out to do. So what is it they set out to do? What they set out to do is that the first thing is they say Norway is for Norwegian. So today, if we were to look at the population of Norway, every single one is at least a quarter millionaire. It also have the best education system, again, that provide the innovation, that provide the ability to innovate, that provide the ability to be competitive. It also have the best healthcare system. So genuine leadership will make a lot of difference. In fact, in Norway as well, it has lowest income inequality. I mentioned about everyone is at least a quarter millionaire. It also has the largest sovereign wealth fund. Malaysia, we copied this as well. Our Khazanah, our PNB also actually borrowed the idea from the sovereign wealth fund of Norway as well. They also have very clear long-term policy and it's being executed well as well. So I think this is translated as well, whether it's for companies like us or even for universities. If we have clarity in what we do and we execute it well with genuineness, things will happen, right? So that's genuine leadership. And let's look at another aspect, which is focused leadership. What you are seeing on the screen is actually South Korea. I chose South Korea because in the 1970s, South Korea and Malaysia, we are at the same level. South Korea and Malaysia GDP at 80 to 100 dollars. But look at where South Korea is today, right? So what they have also is because they focus on things. They focus on education. Korea will have one of the best education systems in the world. It has some of the best universities as well, also in South Korea. And it also has one of the best, or the most hardworking people on the planet. I have some Korean investors as well. So that, again, has contributed a lot to the progress of the nation. And this is why I started this presentation with the 72%. So if we were to take into this consideration, this is something that is very, very worrying as well. How do we then catch up? The Korea, the focus leadership, focus on education, focus on culture, focus on ethics, work ethics in Korea. Not that I'm suggesting that we should work like Korea. They work until 10, 11 o'clock at night. They even have 3 tuition every day for their children, morning, afternoon, at night. So much so that it's no work-life balance. The Korean government actually banned night tuition. The kids go through 3 tuition every single day. right? So this is the comparison, and you see the result. Why Korea today is a first world country, innovating. Look at all the chaebols of Korea. We look at Samsung. We look at LG. We look at all of these big corporations on the chaebols of Korea. They became global champion. As a Malaysian, I'm envious of that, and I would like to push, or I would like to wish that all of us rally all our resources together so that we can actually, do the same thing as well. We can be tech exporter, we can be innovators, and we can create big things as we move forward as well. So again, it's all about execution. Focus on capability building and focus on work ethics. All right. And of course, last one, I'm just going to close this as one example as well. Again, as a CEO that runs a company right now, one thing that worries me right now, and then I would like to share this publicly here as well. Again, it's not about saying other countries or other people are better than us. This is about, we have a lot of good things about the country. I mean, Malaysia is a great place. I live in the UK for 10 years. I decided to come back and work here in Malaysia. So the point here is that let's look at what great stuff that other people have done. We actually look into that. And the last thing, this is my last page, it's really about having that patriotism, that the love for the country. We need to have this mindset shift. So if you were to look at this gerakan revolusi mental in Indonesia, I don't know about you guys, but when I read about this, let me just read what it says. Dalam kehidupan sehari-hari, praktik revolusi mental adalah untuk menjadi manusia yang, let me just translate into bahasa Malaysia lah. Basically what he's saying, untuk menjadi manusia yang berintegriti, mahu bekerja keras dan mempunyai semangat bekerjasama. So this is something that I see a little bit lacking in our society today. The second paragraph which I extract from the Indonesian revolusi mental is actually about menjadi manusia baru yang berhati putih. Okay, I don't know, maybe some of you saw the movie Mat Kilau recently. So this is the opposite of Mat Kilau story. Berhati putih, kemauan baja, bersemangat elang Raja Wali, berjiwa api yang menyala-nyala. I think this is something that we can actually go on as well and think how we can bring this new energy into helping us, all of us work together to transform the country, ourselves a technology exporter, technology producing nation, with all of us innovators working on this. All right. So that's is my last part of the presentation.
Thank you, Mr. Kamaro. That was an eye. I must say, even though your opening was technical, but the focus of your speech is more towards our fundamental set change, a paradigm shift towards education, towards nationalism. I think that is sorely lacking in our Malaysian population right now.
In the society today,
as society today, we really need to. That is a how would I say it? That is a puzzle that we need to crack. We need to fit together, and I'm also sad that Malaysians have become a society that depends on the government. Everything government can provide. Everything, but we don't take our own initiatives.
That's right.
That is a very sad thing. Okay, thank you for that very nice eye opener, Encik Kamaro.
Thank you, sir.
Before I open the floor for questioning, I would like to ask you one thing about the name of your company. Aero, okay, I understand. Dyne is an ancient term for force, weights. What is the connection between the two?
Well, to be honest, there's no meaning.
No meaning.
For us. For us, I'm a big sci-fi fan, and I remember when I was setting up this company, and at that time the movie Elysium I don't know if
Yes,
the movie Elysium was showing. I was so intrigued by the movie. I was like watching it a few times. And if you recall, the shuttle service that send people from Earth
Yes.
to the, it's actually called Space Dine. The
Yes,
shuttle service is called Space Dine.
correct,
Space Dine.
correct,
So,
correct.
hey, all right. So
Okay.
I was starting my company. I said, okay, it's going to be aerodyne.
Okay, all right. Nasib baik tak jadi Elysium. Okay. All right. Yeah, there are a few questions here. Technical. First one is, one benefit of drones for agriculture is that they are able to monitor and control the use of pesticides properly. However, drones do not require permission to fly over another person's property at a certain altitude. They may have microphones and cameras attached, and the resulting concern for potential privacy violation has caused some opposition towards drones. What is your comment? The other one is drones have evolved. Okay. You answered that first, yeah.
All right. Okay. Let me share a story. In the 1700s, during the American Gold Rush, right? So at that time, all the European would arrive on the eastern side, and of course, gold are discovered on the western side,
on the western
seaboard,
yes.
right?
Yes.
On the western seaboard, right?
Yes.
So then they started to build train so that all the gold prospectors can go to the other side of the country, right? So they started to build train, because before that they would ride horses to go, and it would take weeks. They would take weeks or months to arrive to the other side, right? And it's very hazardous as well. So they started to build all of this train. You know what? Once they finished building those trains, there's a big, of course, fortunately at that time they don't have social media, right? so there's a big furor. They said, no, you cannot ride this train. If you go and ride this train, you will die, because everyone is so familiar with riding a horse, and this horse is 20-25 kilometers per hour, and you sit in your carriage traveling at 40 or 50, oxygen will be sucked up from your carriage, and you will die. And this is true story. And this is true story, right? So basically the moral of this story is that people are afraid of what they don't understand. Right? So likewise with drone, there's a lot of misinformation out there, right? First, let's talk about safety, right? Let's talk about safety. Of course, there are always safety risks. On the road itself, every single day, there are close to 100 people who died in Malaysia alone, just on road accident.
Yes.
From road, next to nothing to do, for example. I'm not even suggesting that we should be reckless with road. There are actually rules and regulation in place, and this regulation will be even tighter and tighter as well. And likewise, I think because drone is pretty much a new technology, a lot of engagement needs to be done. Public acceptance will take time as well. So when you talk about, you can carry cameras, I mean, your mobile phone have cameras as well.
Yes.
You will be doing this also. So if you want to put this in overall context, once we have regulation being deployed, right? Regulations are there, but it's just not being executed, because I mean, it's like when you want to drive a car, you have to go to get your driving license. It's under JTB, right? So likewise now, the drone is under Civil Aviation Authority of Malaysia. So airline, we are the only company in Malaysia that is certified now to do three things, which is number one, drone license, agriculture license, number three is also hang on. I got distracted. I was talking about so you need regulation and agriculture, and of course the third one is actually beyond visual line of sight. So once you have history, you can actually start to do a lot of disruptive work as well. So on the privacy and security question just now, it is a valid concern, but this is easily addressable. Just like you cannot ride a train now, this is again a matter of having the regulation in place, and also having a public exposure into this technology. Of course, there will be people who abuse things, just like people abuse driving a car to go and rob a bank. There will be people who would then abuse this technology as well. But the benefit of this technology, it will far outweigh the risk that we all can expect.
If we were to believe what Edward Snowden says, that the NSA can switch on your camera without you knowing it, then that is a bigger privacy violation than the drone flying over.
But it's a valid question. I'm glad. It's a very valid question.
The other question is, drones have evolved from a luxury to a household item, bringing multiple brands into this business. So who are the best drone manufacturers?
Well, if you are talking about for consumer use and all that, DJI is the best by far today. I mean, that explains why they're also the largest, but only for the type that they built for. There are a lot of use cases that cannot be met by DJI, but generally they are one of the best.
Would you say they are a direct competitor to you?
Oh no, definitely not. DJI only a supplier of drone.
Okay.
The comparison is that you have Boeing and Airbus, but the airliners actually uses. So we also uses DJI too. Malaysia Airline or AirAsia do not build their own aircraft.
Yes, correct.
From Boeing or Airbus of the world. So likewise for drone industry, it's two market altogether.
Okay, there's Prof. Raymond from University Malaya. Mr. Kamaru, would your company invest in quantum technology? If yes, do contact me.
Yes. Definitely. Let's have a chat.
Prof. Raymond is from University Malaya, Department of Physics.
Definitely.
Okay. Any other questions? Anybody want to ask directly to Mr. Kamaru? The floor is yours now.
We do work. We do work with all the universities in Malaysia today.
Whether the company is open for internship?
Yes, we are open at any given time. We would have 10 to 15 our company.
Yes, I wanted to ask this question, but I forgot about it. Thank you, Prof. Khairuddin. Thanks for the impressive presentation, and congratulations on the growth of your company. And this could not be achieved overnight. How did you start? It must have been a challenge at the beginning. Can you share your experience? Who is your first customer? That's something.
Okay. Yeah, like I said, we started in late 2014. The idea at that time was I was inspired. A lot of people at the time uses drone only for recreational. You fly drone, you take photo, and you take video. But one day when I think about it, I thought, hey, drone are actually IoT. You have IoT, you have sensors. Geographical information, and you geographical data and positional data, and you're also connected. So at that time, nobody really used drone as an IoT. So when I look at this, so we then start to harness this technology for this purpose, and we did. So that's how we started. Initially, we straight away offer our solution to actually monitor construction project. So it's a challenge, definitely, huge challenge. In fact, in our 7 years, or almost 8 years of experience, we went through 9 key challenges that if we were not able to solve them, it would have spelled the end of the company. However, I look at it differently. I look at it every time I face a huge problem, it's time for me to actually progress to the next level. Just like when you play games, I tell my team as well, there are many youngsters in my company. It's like you play game. When you meet the level boss, it means that you are ready to progress to the next level. Now you need to harness all the energy that you have and beat your level more so that you can progress to the next level. So some of these challenges that we faced before, for example, talent. It was a huge problem also to get talent in country, good talent in country. Also a challenge in terms of how do we make sure we build solutions that is globally ready. So to solve those problems, we start to hire people from all around the world. We started to raise funds as well, and then we started to invest in various companies around the world as well. And we also started to hire outside Malaysia as well. And in terms of technology, we started to hire people from around the world. In fact, in October, I'm going to MIT to present the company and start looking for talents in America as well. So we are looking at ourselves as a global company. And COVID was also another challenge as well. When we had COVID, first happened, I have 50 people with nothing to do. What do? Do we let these people off? No, we don't. Right, so we actually then pivoted. We started to develop a new solution, which is agriculture. So now within just 1 year, we are making that impact into agriculture as well. And of course, biggest challenge really, because we are innovating, we are creating something that is not available. So we are trailblazing, we are creating new stuff as we go along, especially on the data side. And it's actually very, very tough. We are competing with data company. I'm not competing with other drone company, but we are competing with other data companies from Israel, from America, from Japan, and all that. And they have that kind. I mean, they do have talents of those countries as well. So in the beginning, we have our advantage because we were operating in Malaysia, right? But with that advantage or price advantage, we also have another challenge. Companies that are from America and so on and so forth can raise much bigger fund as well. So when they raise bigger fund, basically you have to have money to make money, right? You raise big money, you can hire top talent. So those were other challenges that we faced. But so far, we take one step at a time. We've been growing, global recognition. Now we are also able to raise significant money as well. So with that, we can start expanding our capabilities as well.
On that note, Mr. Kamaru, before I go to the next question by Prof. Khairuddin, can you segmentize where is our local talent? Where does our local talent lie? The majority of our talent, where does it lie? Electronics or whatever.
Oh yeah. No, we have plenty of good talents locally, right? So all these engineers that we hire are being used to work on our data. So for example, for civil engineering work that we do, so there are a lot of civil engineers out there as well. So telecommunications, so we have all those kind of talents that we can utilize to deliver our solution. Today, what we are a little bit lacking in terms of finding is actually when we develop new technology to actually help augment or improve the AI component for all of those things. I'll give you an example. So some of our technologies now is that we're working on right now is actually to develop cognitive point cloud. That when our drone go out and we capture point cloud, and we want to use AI to actually identify and make sense into this point cloud itself. So it's no longer just data, but it understood what this asset and understand what the challenge. So we are deeply involved in that kind of research work.
Those LiDAR radar stuff. Point cloud. Yeah. Those that would answer my earlier question on real-time AI.
Yeah.
Yeah. Prof. Khairuddin's question is two. We are normally eager to commercialize research without mastering the fundamental knowledge, and sometimes we overclaim. Can you comment how you mastered drone technology?
Sure. So we come from my background is from consulting side. I mean, before Aerodyne, I was working for technology consulting company, and likewise in Aerodyne also, I approach this from a solutioning approach. I look at this as how I can commercialize. I look at everything that we do here from the aspect of this is the problem, how I can use this technology or other technology to solve those problems. So we look at it from a different angle. And oftentimes this give a different, also enable us and maybe encourage our people also to think differently. Just like what I mentioned in my presentation as well. We can't solve the problem that we face today using the same mindset that created it in the first place. We encourage for people to think differently. Sometimes the different is really just at the side of the coin, but we don't think about it. But the moment we think creatively and explore all the possibility, then sometimes you would have that eureka moment. Hey, this is actually a totally different way of looking at things, and it's so much easier and faster as well. So that's how we look at commercialization. We don't look at it of, okay, this is the technology, how do we commercialize this thing? We look at, this is the problem statement, how we can actually tap on all of this to get technology together and put them together, and if it's not components that we can build upon it to commercialize it. So it's not technology looking for solutions
Yes.
looking for technology.
Yes, correct. Yes, our backgrounds are, our point of views are different. We are trained, university guys are trained differently compared to entrepreneurs. That's the main difference. Are there any other startups or even established companies with your kind of what shall I say, mindset, entrepreneurs solving problems in Malaysia?
Oh yeah, there's quite a lot. There are many. I mean, there are some really cool startup around Malaysia. So I'm very encouraged with that. Not just in space, but multiple different areas as well.
Yeah,
they're quite a lot.
Okay,
Different
it's,
teams as well.
where you put our growth of these guys, including yourself, where would you put your growth, on the flat learning curve or on the steep rise?
Yeah, I mean, for us, initially it was slow. We are going through our hockey stick growth. we are going vertical right now.
Right now it's hockey stick. Okay, all right.
Right now it's hockey stick. I mean, in the beginning it was a little bit slow. We were putting people together, and then really running startup. One of the biggest challenges really also putting the right people together. Even smart people might not be the right people. And then not so smart people can be the right people as well. How do you put all of these people together? So that's actually a very, very tough thing that we have to go through. It can be heartbreaking, heart-wrenching kind of thing to do, but to put this together is actually quite tough. Especially the people side. Yeah.
Can I have one example of a smart guy not being the right guy?
Okay, I'll give you an example, right? So for every organization, when you are at the startup stage, this is where you are searching. You don't even know where you are going to go, right? So in fact, I would look at a technology company into three separate different phases. First phase is actually when you search. You're searching. You're defining what you're solving, right? The second one is when you are scaling, right? You're scaling and you're getting bigger, right? And then the third phase is actually when you start to sell. You start selling already. I mean, these are the big corporations. I don't want to use Facebook, but Amazon of the world, they have everything in place and they are ready to go, right? So now, the requirement of every different steps or stage of the organization is very, very different. When you are at the search stage, you need to be very agile. You need to move very, very fast. You need to make mistakes, learn, and move forward as well. So in that stage, you hire smart people, say from an organization like, I don't know, maybe Petronas, for example. Really people that come from that background are already trained in such an environment where you are guided by boundaries. You can and you cannot do. You go very deep into your area. If you are suddenly thrown into a situation, you change anytime, you let go. It's very, very difficult, for example. I wouldn't say patronize, but big. Oftentimes the problem is in unlearning. If you come from background, you already have that certain way of doing things. When you are at the stage, for example, at search stage, you need to adapt very, very quickly. Right. So that's phase one. Even the second part, as you were scaling, it's almost like you're scaling the mountain, right? You are scaling the mountain, you need to be light. You need to be very agile. If you are in the first stage, you can carry a lot of things, right? So again, smart people, they stay in the lab and do their stuff. But if it is as a startup, to adapt to this also can be very difficult, because oftentimes you work on something, very quickly you realize, hey, this is not the right thing to do. So it can be very frustrating for a lot of smart people as well. You work halfway, no, you pull the plug, because you see that this is not something that's going to work as well, right? But of course, when you are at the selling stage, then you would already have system processes and the clarity of the technology that you're developing, where you are going. Then it's different. But people that can work well at that stage will not work well at the earlier stage, for example. So fortunately, some people can grow together with the company as the company grow and learn and adapt to that different requirements. Prof, you are mute. Unmute. I think I cannot hear you. I think you're on mute.
Yeah, Baba. The microphone, Baba.
Sorry, sorry. I'm muted. Sorry, Mas Jamila.
Okay, thank you, Prof. Okay,
Yeah.
Assalamualaikum, Mr. Kamarul. Thank you for a very good sharing. Yeah, I'm Mas from Institute of Engineering Mathematics, UNIMAP. Yeah, I figured out from your sharing just now that you mentioned about prescriptive and descriptive analytics, which are very important to your business. And I would like to ask two questions actually. The first question would be, do you foresee any specific direction or evolution of new statistical method, especially on predictive analytics, that might be a crucial demand in the growing of technology along with the AI? Because as an education provider, I think this thought would be very important for us to design our next curriculum for our future students. That would be my first question. Okay, I continue with the second question?
Yeah.
Okay, my second question would be, I think a bit silly, but I would like to know your answer, because, for example, if you are talking about predictive analytics using black box method, for example, neural networks, for example, it is something that sometimes we people overlook, because neural network would have the process of the the layer and layer. So sometimes we may overlook or underlook that particular process. So with the advancement and evolution of AI later, when AI begin to govern the human and community, do you think that AI may misuse this black box analysis without the knowledge of human? That would be my second question. And my third question would be, as a government servant and as a Malaysian, I would like to have your honest thought. Okay, how do you call or label Malaysian leadership? Is it clear? And I really wanted to ask you, because
waters.
No. This is not a trick question, but I would like to see, because I'm so concerned about our Malaysian community at the moment, our politician, for example. Maybe I'm worried about the direction of our Malaysian compared to Indonesian. I think they move a bit faster than us in terms of the technology, in terms of the community advancement, in terms of the growth, sharing the wealth among the nation and so on. That's the question from. Thank you.
That's the question. Prof. Prabha, this is stream live, right?
Yes.
So I have to give a politically correct answer, but no.
Yes.
Joking aside, in terms of leadership, I do feel that there are really a lot of genuine leaders out there that are really wanting to see a difference. I'm fortunate enough to be several council government initiative to bring about change. not just in the technology, in the economy as well. So I do see the seriousness in addressing some of the challenges that we have. But of course, there are also weaknesses as well. I do see. I mean, this is the gap that we need to work together to have this thing. But I'm also encouraged to see that the intensity of wanting to do this is actually quite prevalent. I mean, it's obvious that they want. This is something that people want to do. But again, the problem is execution. That's also one the reason why I put the 3 things in my presentation at the end. Because at the end of the day, even if we have intention, but if this is not being executed, then we will not get the result that we wanted. And I think this is perhaps improve. Like I said, I'm a technologist. I have no interest in politics, but I do have a chance to mingle with the politicians and contributing the nation. But I do not know how they do it, to be honest. These politicians, because it's actually tough doing what they do as well. They do crazy hard as well. At least those people that I know. So of course, there are also challenges of sometimes we do not make. Remember my leadership when I talk about the leadership as well, about how we should be doing the right solution as well. So when you're making the impact millions of people, then maybe we do not make the right decision because we have so many to please. I'll give you one example on this one, and this is something that I champion, trying to change this thing, right? And that is actually with regards to having a resilient and strong, because workforce, how do I put it? If our workforce is, I'm running out of battery. If our workforce is, I don't want to use the word. If our workforce is not resilient, right? So how do we?
Yes.
All right. So yeah, I'm talking about workforce just now, right? I mean, okay, let's look at this. It's very employee centric. You know, it's a linear and one-sided policy in Malaysia. If you were to look at, to say that this is what we should be doing, we want to have workforce that is strong at heart and be able to adapt and move forward. If you look at, for example, in America or in Europe or even in Japan, right? If you don't perform, you have to go, and people can just hire and fire, and people just move, and without having any issue with that. Government, especially, we have this problem in Malaysia as well. The government servant do not perform. Basically, when you work for the government, you stay there forever, right? So that's not forming culture. So we need to have that perhaps a relook into this situation, because I see this also. The reason why, when I look at I used to work in the UK also for 6 years as well. In the UK, if you perform, you go. So that actually drives you to work very, very hard. It drives you to actually perform as well. In Malaysia, nobody dare challenge this one-sided. It's not charging. It's frozen, as you guys can hear me.
Yes.
You can?
Yes.
Okay. Right. Just give me a second.
Yep.
Okay. Right. So yeah, so that's the answer to the third question, the political side. So sometimes we do not make decision that unpopular decision. So I think that's perhaps one of the things. So second question is on the change and predictive analytics. Definitely, we are already seeing a lot of changes. It's not just on this aspect. Change are happening everywhere, even in terms of focus, in terms of technology, core technology itself. So I would never follow or use the same strategy. I would like to go into detail with you also after this. The question was from Masita, is it just now?
Mas,
Mas,
Dr.
Mas.
Yeah. So definitely, in terms of the approach and the strategy of doing things is continuously changing as well. And then I think moving forward, there will be new technology as well, new approach, even new philosophy of how to look at data. So I think we are always on the lookout of what's coming next. We would never just stay in one place basically. So your second question is predictive analytics and AI. Yeah, it's the same question 1 and 2, right?
The second question would be, is there any possibility that the AI maybe misuse the predictive analytics that we design using the black box methods?
Sure. So that's actually where biasness comes in play as well, right? I think in other words, that possibility to me is real. We often deliberate on this as well. I think one of the way to look at it is also to look at the you see, just like in drone. Maybe I'll give you an example. You see, when we fly drone, we have potential being hijacked by people that use an anti-drone system. So they can actually bring down our drone, or they can even hijack our drone as well. So what we built right now is actually an anti-drone system on the drone itself. So people will use spoofing to change the GPS coordinate of those drones, and would be able to hijack those drones away. What we do instead is actually use another device on those drones that detect this signal that come in that we know is making an attempt to move the coordinate that we intended to go. So that actually allows us to detect a potential hijacking onto the drone. So when we look at data, we can also put in a similar strategy into this as well. So we had a similar conversation also with CTOs. We have 4 CTOs in the organization. I'm the vision guy. I look at the direction where we are going. This is one of the things that we have discussed already as well. So we can, Mas, please contact me. We can actually go into a deeper conversation into this as well.
Okay, thank you.
That last example seemed more like a military or security kind of application compared to what you are currently doing. Can I ask that? Do you see this kind of threats on a commercial standpoint of view?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, even for commercial, you need to protect the integrity of your aircraft as you are flying, right? It could be for whatever reason. It could be unintentional, or it could also be intentional. And we need to provide that level of integrity to your data as
well. Are there any other questions from the floor? I think not much. Anybody?
My email is kamarul@aerodyne.group. If there's any questions, Mas Jamila, please send to me, then we can actually take it offline as well.
Okay, thank you. Prof. Prabha, is it possible? One last question, because
sure.
Yeah.
Floor is still yours.
Yeah, thank you.
Mr. Kamarul is available until 8 o'clock.
Okay, Mr. Kamarul, what would be your advice to the young generation that is shifting from STEM to not looking into STEM, but more on the social sciences, whereby we need more people in the STEM area, and that for that, what would be your precious advice for them? Thank you.
I think we can advise them about the exciting future. That was what I was attempting to do here as well, to talk about what's coming. We can actually be a participant in this exciting future. In the future, it's a lucrative industry to be involved in. I think I would look at even within my organization and globally, some of the highest paid people are actually in this industry, developing technology, pushing the limit. I mean, you have these tech people are definitely paid much higher than engineers at the moment. So I think that's one. If you are driven by technology, they are driven by money. Of course, money is also important. You need to solve whatever challenge that you may have, especially your fresh grad and all that. So if you are really good at what you do, it is a very highly paid position in technology. Maybe not the traditional engineering kind of work, but when you talk about work, when you talk about AI, it's actually very, very highly paid. And even then, even so we are losing talent to Singapore. Again, just to let you know that just how high people are willing to pay if you are good in technology. Granted, people might need to solve their short-term requirements, so that's why they would rather do their becoming a social influencer or doing Grab or whatever not. But think of the bigger picture. How if you can to invent something that will change the world one day. All of us have a role to play to inspire people so that we can actually do this big stuff for the future. And that is where you play a big role here as well. And government have to play a big role. Communication has to play a big role. I think this is to happen in country as well. We have a long-term decision that will make a significant impact. As I see a lot of youngsters also in my organization, at least, even from Cambridge working in Peradine. So I do see hungry people like to do this amazing stuff. So oftentimes, if they are not, perhaps it's only because they are not exposed. So I think this is our role to give this exposure, to give the horizon, the visibility of where this can and will take them.
Can I intervene and say that this partly I suspect partly the problem is the over romanticization of the top 500 school dropouts like Google, Apple, and Microsoft, who prove that they can make money without having anything in hand. What we see is the thousands of other startups who are technical and who are also doing very well. That is not.
Yeah, but don't put.
Sorry. Yeah, carry on.
No, okay, sorry. So I mean, that dropout example is actually a wrong one, because those dropouts are really smart guys.
Exactly.
They are not a dropout because they couldn't do it. Right? They are so smart for the cause that they are already seeing stuff that they feel that they can do better, right? So it's not dropping out that make them good. They drop out because they are already good at what they do. Right?
Yes, correct.
Yeah.
There's a question on the chat here, Mr. Kamarul. Is there any chance drones will involve in space technology or space exploration? That one is already answered with Mars explorers.
Yeah, I have no doubt, because always when you do without human involved, it'll be a lot cheaper as well, right? They are already talking about using drone for for mining. You know, at the asteroid belt, there's a lot of potential there as well.
Yes.
And then you don't need to send you can send drone,
Yes.
robotics drone to be doing all this exploration. You can send drone. You need food. You know, machines may not. Right? Even if you look at Voyager, after 40, 50 years, it's still flying, although some of it is running out of battery now, right?
Yeah.
So it's a much better way of doing things.
Yes. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Any other questions? If not, we can close. The session is already 4:40. Okay. Anything else? Nothing. Okay. Oh yes, Prof. Raymond. Thanks, Prof. Raymond, for joining us. I didn't know you were in. I think there's no way AI will overcome human beings if we know how to control our materialistic urge while developing our spirituality. It is a human advantage, but we almost neglect it. Well said. Well said, Prof. Raymond. Okay, if that's, I think Prof. Raymond's quote sentence will be the last for today. With that, we thank you for the most enlightening and excellent mind-opening speech by you, Mr. Kamarul. Yep. Before we part ways, Mr. Kamarul, just hang on. Few things. One, we'd like to ask everybody to switch on their cameras. So we'd like to take a picture. Attendees, please switch on your cameras. Prof. Raymond sudah lari. Cameras, please. Cameras. Okay.
Someone in the car also.
Drone.
Yeah, on the drone. I'm not on the drone today.
Okay. All right. Okay. We have done with the pictures. Thank you, Mr. Kamarul, for most enlightening speech. That was very wonderful. Thank you for your time and thank you for gracing us with your presence. For everybody else, there is a on the chat the QR code for attendance is also presented. You click on the link. You will get a drone from Mr. Kamarul.
Oh,
okay. Thank you, Mr. Kamarul.
All right, thank you. Thank you for having me.
We wish everybody a good day and selamat petang.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.